In less than 3 months, I was able to secure 3 locations.
Not only did you get 3 high traffic vending machine locations, you got 3 high schools. How many students are at each school?
One school has 1,100 students, another school has 600 students, and the other school has 1,200 students.
So most people think vending is a grind. Too many machines, too much guesswork, or they say, no way, I'm not buying myself another job. Technically, they're both right. When the average vending machine only makes $300 to $400 a month, that's not nearly enough to change anyone's life. But like so many of my other clients, Rob's story is different. At the time of this recording, he had secured 3 high schools, nearly 3,000 students combined, and was already on track to nearly replace his teacher's salary with a part-time business that had massive scale ahead. Since filming that video, Rob has gone even further. Now he's secured a total of 5 schools, his first 3 high schools, then added 2 middle schools, with 5 vending machines serving nearly 5,000 students combined. In his first 30 days across these 5 locations and 5 machines, he'll already be on track to generate over $12,000 in sales. So in this video, you'll see how Rob avoided overpriced franchise-style vending companies like Healthy You Vending and Naturals To Go Vending, and instead followed a system that high traffic locations actually say yes to. If you've ever wondered whether vending can go beyond pocket change, Rob's story proves it. Hey Rob, thanks for being with me, man. How are you?
Doing phenomenal. How are you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing pretty well, thank you. So, hey man, we're gonna talk about your business today up there in Michigan. Remind me, how did you come across Vending Accelerator?
Well, I was actually looking into franchises.
Okay.
And then I was like, I think vending is the perfect fit for what I'm trying to do. I had a franchise broker be like, you should look in the vending space. And so naturally, I went right to Healthy You, Naturals To Go, which are the 2 most commonly recognized franchise, which they're not franchises, right? So I had a conversation with a Healthy You rep, and I started looking into them, and I was like, all right, let's make sure this is legit. I was actually feeling pretty good about it. Like, I was like, okay, I think this is going to be where I'm going to go. And in the review process, I saw your stuff like, hey, you're going to pay a lot more for machines, which was my first thing. So I looked into that a little bit, and I was like, okay. And then I saw more of your content doing interviews like this and hearing some of the numbers that some of your clients were doing. And I was like, yeah, we got to dig a little deeper here.
Yeah, apparently these companies, like you said, Healthy You Vending, Naturals To Go Vending, people start to look at franchise opportunities, and they get connected with some franchise brokers, and they then recommend to them non-franchises, because Healthy You Vending or Naturals To Go Vending, neither of them are franchises.
Yeah,
they both have a Rolodex of brokers that recommend them business because they kick them back and they get paid for it. Got it. So then you were in the review process, which sounds like with Healthy You Vending, it looks like you're looking to potentially pull the trigger with them, and then you found my review video. I gave you a little bit more insight.
Yeah, 100%. Like he was talking about numbers, doing like, you're doing really well, you're doing $1,000 a month. And honestly too, that's the thing, is I didn't really have any basis for what was going right. That's what you were saying, $3,000, $4,000 a month, but it made sense too, because for a long time, 10 years now, I've been a school teacher. I've been on this entrepreneurial journey for the last, say, 3 years with all just very small kind of side stuff. And I'm like, I want to kind of take a leap into bigger entrepreneurial ventures. And so this was my way to do that. So when you mentioned how you specialize in getting in schools, it just clicked, because that was one of my first thoughts too, is like, man, we got to get into schools if I'm going to do vending machines. But I really didn't understand some of the challenges that came with that. So when I put out numbers that make sense with the numbers because of all the foot traffic, like if they're going to be targeting this space, I need to at least have a conversation.
Yeah, we're talking captive audience, 300 consumers minimum a day, right? In this case, it would be students, and kids are there 8 hours a day. You can expect, I mean, we don't even do 300. The average location secured, our clients, I don't know if you know this or not, is 1,100 consumers a day. So while 300 is our minimum, it's certainly not the average, but you're easily going to be able to generate 60, 70, 80 sales a day, which will generate $2,500, $3,000 or more a month. But it all comes down to the numbers, which these companies like Healthy You Vending, Naturals To Go Vending, they don't talk to you about location numbers. They don't talk to you about foot traffic, member check-ins at gyms or YMCAs. They don't talk about student count, number of employees.
Yeah, that's a good point. They simply walk you through this idea that they're going to find you high traffic locations, and then it's your job to go and secure those locations. And the disconnect for me was, it just sounded so simple to just be like, okay, here we go. We're going to tell you where to go. Literally the pitch from the person who was talking to me about it was like, this was all it was. You're going to walk in, you're going to just say, hey, can I put a machine in here? And if they ask, can you share a little bit? You might say, okay, or you might push back, but pretty simple. And that was it. That was the only explanation that I got for approaches to try to secure high traffic locations.
So then you found Vending Accelerator. Tell me why you wanted to jump on a call with us and eventually invest with us.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, full transparency, it was a little bit personal. Like there was a little bit that just resonated, right, with this idea that we are not just going to say we're a healthy vending business, but we're going to be one, right? Like the products you're going to put in your machine are ultimately going to reflect the values of Vending Accelerator, and it's going to be the highest quality, healthy stuff you can put in, and that's still affordable to the consumer. So that was great because that's a priority to me. That's another thing that Healthy you mentioned. They're like, we are healthy, but you can put whatever you want. And then the other thing was being an educator for 10 years and how to speak the language to schools. Like, it's just so different when you go to schools. And it's like, it's just unlike any other location. And so the fact that that's where I'm going to be, I've lived for 10 years, that's where I'm going to be targeting now as a business owner. It's almost like my way to give back a little bit as the entrepreneur with this incredible service to a lot of schools in my area. So for me, it was a little more personal, but those were some of the big difference makers.
No, it's a really interesting point because on the front end, before you're ever a client, we're pretty broad with it, with the school stuff, and allude to what you're saying right there. And until you're on the inside of it, you understand that we 100% talk their language. You know, you have to, like you just said. If not, you will quickly just get turned away at the door, you know?
I was completely clueless. Like, man, it took me a long time, weeks, to really become accustomed and have that language in nature when I'm talking.
Well, that's true, because on the teacher's end, you don't even see any of that side of it. You're absolutely right, because the terminology and everything that we discussed doesn't have anything to do with the educator side of it. It has to do with different channels that go into schools that we leverage and are able to have a conversation with these schools unlike they've ever had with a vending company. Because you can't mention the word vending. You're, again, same reason, you'll get turned away.
Right away, 100%. So that's the other thing too, is like recognizing for 10 years, I don't know a single thing about really what's going on, other than my students telling me that they hate the lunch food. That's the only thing that has been a connection between what I do and food service.
Yeah, so got it. So you decided to become a partner with us, and then, you know, our process, you know, you got the first 2 weeks where we're doing deep vetting process for high traffic locations. It's a 2-week process, my data entry team, and then my fact finding team. Talk to me about that, how that went for you. Did it meet your expectations, exceed it?
Yeah, let me also say, I've signed up for probably close to, I'd say maybe 8, 9, just coaching, mentorship program type, partnership program things. And your program, I've never been a part of something like this. And the reason being is just how hands-on your entire team was with making sure I had calls, the data I needed, all of the information, the marketing materials to be like, okay, we're not going to go crazy and overwhelm you. We're going to try to keep it as simple as we can so that you can consume and digest what you need to go make visits, but we're going to make sure that you are fully prepared. And even just little things of like, hey, I'm talking to Mitch, and Mitch is like, when I walked into my first location and this is how it went, I recommend doing this. Just having people who have the experience, so directly able to talk me through some things that they struggled with early on too. It just expedited the learning curve by a ton. Yeah,
that's the thing. Mitch is the head of client success. Brian, my head of equipment operations, both run and operate a healthy vending business themselves, you know, and our corporate owned machines, and Mitch his own very successful business. Then, client success team. So I appreciate that. And I remember your email on that, I mean, did you say we were the best? Is that what you said?
I said I've not been a part of one like this at all. So yes, that means you're the best.
Okay. Oh, well, yeah. Well, we'll hear the words. So, no, we appreciate that. You know, I've also invested tons of money in different mentorships and programs, and I've just kind of picked and choose what I did like and what I didn't like.
You know, I've paid for the programs and maybe have a person who is there to help you and be with you a little bit. But after that, you know, you watch the content and, you know, you're kind of like, oh, cool, maybe connect with another member. And that's about it. Like I've never just been able to add so much direct influence directly to you and your team. It's a complete game changer. I mean, to the point where because you were on a call with me, it's very likely to sign an agreement in one of the largest districts in my area.
Oh yeah, we did the Zoom call. Yeah, we'll talk about that. So after 2 weeks, we do our 2-week vetting process with data entry and fact finding. Then you get on what's called the location launch call. I don't know what your expectations were into that. I know what we tell you, that you're going to have more opportunity than you think.
Oh man. I was like, I'm looking at it and I'm just like, how do I get to every place? But in a good way. Because honestly, you just don't even realize. You come in, you're like, okay, there's going to be some good opportunities in my area. You start maybe thinking about a few schools or something. Yeah. And then you go through all the categories and you go through the extensive list for private schools, for gyms, for YMCAs. And the crazy thing is too, is how extensive it was, all within a 10-mile radius. Yeah, I'm in a city of 100,000 people. Like, you know, this isn't Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Super stoked, super excited, was ready to hit the ground running. But I was like, man, there are so many opportunities here.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, like you said, 10-mile radius. We like to keep our clients as close to home as possible. Cool. And then we narrow it down to like 15 or 20 that we want you to get laser focused on and say, hey, these are going to be your quickest win, your first contract signed.
Well, that's honestly the biggest part. Like, yeah, there's a ton of opportunities, but the fact that there's so much information with each opportunity, it's like, it just points you right in the right direction. What's your foot traffic look like? What's the vending situation there already? Yeah. So when you walk in, you're already ready to talk about vending problems. Or they don't have any vending. And I'm like, all right, this could be a really great opportunity, or there's some reason for that. That data just arms you, aside from all the other stuff that you provide, with so much material.
Yep, absolutely. Awesome. So with that, then we move into basically execution. So at that point, your brochures, the 6-figure location brochure collection, you've been armed with the magic phrase. So talk to me about that, your first reactions to saying the magic phrase, bringing in the samples and your custom location brochures, and how that went for you.
Oh man, this is a guy coming from a background in schools, very nervous.
Yep.
I'm walking in, I'm ready to do it, and I'm walking in there, and I'm like, okay, here's the process. And not exaggerating, I walk into my first building, and there's like a bunch of people around. There's some kids, there's some staff, and I'm like, and then all of a sudden, I was ready to just like be like, walk back and someone like slapped me in the face. And literally, I didn't even know it was the assistant principal. He just looks at me and goes, oh, awesome. Yeah, come on, let's go. and we walk right into a room to have a meeting. I could not believe it.
Yeah, exactly. One, you didn't say the word vending, which would not get you that result. We give you this phrase that's quite powerful. That's the key on that. It's going to help you get past that front desk and talk to someone who's got more leverage than a front desk person. Then you can get in front of them and walk them through the brochure. How did that go with the assistant principal?
Went great. The assistant principal absolutely loved it. It's like, man, we've talked about vending before. We know students outside of lunch, they need something. This would be really great. He loved it. It happened to be for a school that is actually a part of a national charter academy, but he loved it. Like, he was like ready to be like, let's go right now.
Which is great. From there, you went out to a number of other schools. We understand you're nervous, and that's for good reason, because you've never done this before.
Yeah.
Once you go into your first location or two, that's all going to go away, because you're going to find out how well received this is by the way that we've structured this for you with the phrase and the brochure. How was that once you got past that first school?
It was crazy. How quickly I became accustomed to having positive conversations, even if it was just with the front desk person. My confidence built so fast. I woke up and I was like, I can't wait to get to these schools. The nerves went away fast.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Somebody can be watching this on YouTube right now. And if you've tried to get vending machine locations on your own and you walk into locations, the moment you mention the word vending, they're like, no, we're not interested in vending machines. No, we're fine with what we have. Nope, we don't do vending machines. We stopped doing them years ago, because they walk in and they say the word vending. That is their number one problem. You're just associating with all the problems and all of the headaches that come with the vending world already. Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool. So here we are now. Have you been able to get any secured locations?
Man, so in less than 3 months of doing visits, I was able to secure 3 locations. Honestly, that's phenomenal. That's great that we could point to 3 locations and say, hey, you've been successful and you're doing the process, things are going well. To me, what actually is even more significant and more impactful is the relationships that I've built, to the point where this potential seems limitless.
Yeah.
There are locations that haven't signed an agreement yet that I know will sign an agreement.
Yeah.
Right. And so we are in a position to honestly grow this in my area, and anybody else watching this, wherever they're at, to whatever you want. This is something where you're like, I'm good with a few machines. Awesome. If you want 10 plus machines, go get it. Like there's nothing holding you back from scaling to what you want.
Yeah.
This program in this process.
There's more opportunity in any marketplace than you're ever going to install and place at. And yeah, that's the beauty of this, is you're going to come here and you're going to get locations first, and you can get your first location or first or second or third location, or you can go after big location opportunities at 5 or 10 or 15 machine opportunities. It's entirely up to you. But the key here is that you're going to start off getting high traffic locations. That's all that you do. Now, so you got 3 locations secured, 3 high schools secured.
All 3 high schools.
Not only did you get 3 high traffic vending machine locations, you got 3 high schools. How many students are at each school?
Yeah, so one school has 1,100 students, another school has 600 students, and the other school has 1,200 students.
Got it. So 1,200, 1,100, and 600 students. And you got how many machines going to each? Just one to start?
1 machine to each. Yes.
Yep. one combo machine going to each. Any of them have current vending machine competition?
They're all gone. One has one, and I have no doubt it'll be gone after the machine drops and lands, and the other two remove the competition.
Because that's what we do. We replace existing, outdated, poorly serviced vending machines. And then you have one of the schools that has one vending machine.
Mine's coming, and it's a drink-only machine. Because of the existing contract that they have, they're keeping it for now.
So your high school with 1,200 students has a Coke contract.
Yes.
Correct? So, and that's one of the concerns that when the rest of the vending industry walks into a school, they try to go into a school and they, oh no, we have a Coke contract. What are they going to do? They're going to turn around and walk away,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
But we show you can actually still get into those schools if you know how to get into those schools by working with the administration. Our program shows you how to do that, and now you're going in there selling drinks and snacks.
Drinks and snacks, right?
Yeah, 1,200 students. Now, with that said, 3 vending machines at those 3 schools brings me to a great question: is that how did you even know what products to purchase for schools?
Yeah, you have your full planogram.
Yeah, exactly.
We just use that. I love it too, because so you give us all those resources to be like, hey, how do we find out if something is compliant or not? We're never in the dark on what's acceptable and what's not.
Yeah, really great point. One of the most difficult aspects of building a vending machine business today is that nobody has any credibility, especially when you're starting out. You mentioned this earlier before we got on this call, which is you've recognized now being in the vending industry for a few months that there's really only 2 types of vendors outside of vending accelerator clients. You either have been well established and you have a ton of machines, you've been there forever, or you're just a brand new operator who's just doing low rate used machines and just placing them where you can, right?
Yeah,
and there's really between. One of the most difficult reasons new vendors struggle building a business is because they're brand new and nobody knows them. But here at Vending Accelerator, we have an advantage that's tied to the 6-figure location for sure collection, which is you automatically become a Free Healthy Vending client partner, which is my other brand, my other company, Free Healthy Vending, which is a national healthy vending brand that you get to leverage, and it's instant credibility. Schools alone, we already serve 140,000 students a day. How did that go over at the schools and the districts when you went in there and you showed them our credibility page that has all those school districts in it?
That's it. That's the game-changing element of like, this is a replicable process that people in 30 other states are all doing, right? The exact same thing. This is a national brand. And I'm always referring to we. Like, yes, I'm coming in, I'm presenting myself, but I always use the phrase, what we are doing, because in my mind, I'm coming in representing you and everybody in your team and this entire community. It's not something where I'm coming in and just saying, hey, I'm this new local vending company, listen to me, right? I'm coming in with you and this entire community behind me that is all doing the same thing. And so it just adds so much to the conversation when I'm talking to decision makers.
Yeah, no, this is the thing on that. You're absolutely right, because what makes this so beautiful and attractive to other high traffic locations, in your case schools, is that sure, this is a national brand that has national credibility. It's got proof that this works, right? Because all of the other clients, same machines, same products, same servicing. However, you're still a local owner operator.
Correct.
You're a legal small business, right? You're not big conglomerate like Coke, Pepsi, or Dr. Pepper who have...
Right, you're talking to the owner.
That's why I believe we have the best of both worlds. So you have the local small business appeal, but then you have the national credibility that you're able to leverage. And they're like, oh, you guys are at the 2nd largest school district in the United States? Yeah, it's going to work here. We've got 2 high schools. Okay, cool. Awesome. And now you've ordered your machines. We told you that you would get a discount on the machines because you're a Vending Accelerator client. Did you get that discount?
I forgot about that. I saw it and I was like, oh, all right, great, here we go.
Yeah.
When I got the invoice,
Nice. And then your machines are getting shipped next week. Yep. And then support since then, because we didn't just leave you hanging once you got your location secured, right?
Man, this past week, we even had one of my schools who was like getting a little antsy. I've been updating them. And he was like, hey, give me another update. Where are we at with this thing? And so I brought it to you guys. I was like, hey, do you have any feedback? What might be a good approach to have a discussion with the person who I'm working with at this school? And I literally got a call from Mitch. I got a call from Brian. I got a whole extensive response email from you of like, this is exactly what I would say. I'm like, all right, hey, I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, you are well taken care of. I didn't know Mitch and Brian both called you. I wrote in that email back and just said, hey, yeah, this is how I would respond to that. We want to try and reduce any blows that we can by helping you respond. Not that you couldn't do it in an intelligent way, but there's nuances when you're dealing with schools. But there's definitely a delicacy, you being in the educator space, this, when it comes to dealing with school administrators. And sometimes you've got to handle them with white gloves.
Personality, for sure.
Yeah. So I wanted to give you, a lot of times you just want to give you the best support.
And honestly,
my team called you. I didn't even know that.
It's interesting. I got this email and I was like prepared to just respond and have a conversation. But I thought to myself, I was like, I knew you guys would be all over it. And I was like, even as someone who's been an educator for so long, I'm like, I'd just be so interested to hear what the feedback would be from these guys having been in the industry for, I know that you've been in it for over 10 years. Yeah, let's just see how they would respond to this. I wasn't anticipating a full team response, but which is great. So it was good. And all of you had different things to say, which were super helpful. And the reason why that's so beneficial is yeah, sure. So that's great that, I got some assistance with a very specific thing. But what's incredible about that is those are now all things that I get to take into future conversations too.
Yep, yeah.
Right. So it's learning opportunities that y'all really help the process so much.
Yeah. Then, that's the other thing I want to talk about is the location clinics. We do location clinics every Wednesday for a couple hours.
That's kind of some of the references I made earlier to the community specifically asking questions that even before I secured locations, where I was going through and having some conversations that I didn't think to ask that you guys responded to that helped me so much and have better conversations. Also, me directly being able to bring up questions that I've had in specific experiences and you guys address those on a call. Just stuff that you're never done learning. Having a lot of business conversations as a teacher the last 5 years, there's still just so much to take from everybody else's experiences. And so, those have been super helpful. Yeah,
we always encourage clients, even when we're coming on brand new, get inside location clinics right away. You're going to learn stuff right away. So that's amazing. So we got 3 machines getting shipped out to you next week. I would love to follow back up with you to see how much money you're making. 3 machines going into 3 schools, 1,100 students, 600 students, 1,200 students, which is about worst case scenario, and said 10% of sales just based off of the 600 school. That would be 60 sales a day.
Yes.
If all 3 vending machines did just 60 sales a day, which is not going to happen. They're all going to do more than that. That would put you at about $1.85 average retail price, which is usually what it is, right around $1.85, depending on your demographics. $1.85 can be maybe as much as $2.04, $2.05. Again, depending on demographics. Keep it at the lower number, $1.85 will put you about $2,400, $2,500 a month in revenue, which is about 22 sales days out of the month. And that puts you at $7,500. Now, that's probably not what you're going to do. I'm just trying to set the bar low so that you're blown away. But still, $2,500 a machine would be far more than the national average at $300 to $400 a month. $700 at 3 vending machines. We'll bring this part back into the future video. You're projected to do well over $10,000 a month, which I'd be super excited for you. I think your goal is to be retired by next fall, yeah?
100%. Yeah. Leave the W-2 behind.
Anything else you want to throw in there for anybody's considering Vending Accelerator?
I don't use this term lightly. It's a game changer. This program is a game changer. I had high expectations and I was really excited to sign up and be a part of this. And I know it's a short window, but already to this point, the expectations have been so exceeded. I would never have imagined being in this spot where I am, 4 months later.
I appreciate that. And I do. And I do as the founder and the visionary here and having the team that I have. A lot of people don't realize they see YouTube and it's just me and that kind of thing. I got a team of 40 behind me. This doesn't work without them.
And I'll even add to that too. And I will say that it's one thing to have an incredible process, an incredible system, and all the relevant tools, but it's a whole different thing to have the right people. And what I mean by that are people that at the core of it truly care about your success and care about you as the person. And you get that from the community. You sense that the people that come into this community are people that are like that. You mentioned, I work with business owners, right? But I work with business owners who understand people and want to build relationships and want to help out and serve others where they can. That's every single person that's a part of your team and in this community. And that is what makes it so special, in my opinion.
If you follow my process, you use my tools, you get in the location channels, this works every single time. If you deviate from one of those 3 things, I can promise you it won't work. Outside of that, no, man, I appreciate it. We'll follow back up with you after operational, see how much money you're making, how much money you're collecting.
Thank you for that call.
Cool, man. I appreciate you being here, Bob.
Hey, thanks for having me, Ryan. I appreciate it, man.
You're welcome.